You're very welcome along to the Offload. This podcast is brought to you by Ballygowan, Ireland's #1 branded water.
Yes, it is, Tommy. Ballygowan is 100% Irish and bottled at source in Newcastle West in Limerick.
Of course, it's proud sponsor of the IRFU and the official water partner of Irish Rugby.
Yeah, so listen up. Hydration is essential. It's for elite sport, but not only that, it is really important that we all drink enough water daily. So why don't you grab yourself a bottle of Ballygowan, look out for the ones with Baveen and Joe on it, and enjoy the pod.
How are you, Dunners? Yes, another podcast, the live show this week. How are you feeling?
Yes, all good, Tommy. Yeah, it was incredible. We did our live show in the Tree Olympia on Wednesday evening, and to all the people that turned up, and even beyond it, people that weren't there to send us messages, man. Quite incredible, Tommy, wasn't it?
It was a great night. Really was. Yeah, like, I haven't been that nervous for something since probably rugby. Going out onto a stage is completely outside your comfort zone.
I found it a different type of nerves, because rugby nerves are different to everything, but I kind of found it like wedding-y nerves, that kind of nerves.
Yeah.
Or you know what I mean, you have to make a speech at a friend's wedding or something like that. It had a bit of that to it for me.
I loved that we obviously had Baveen Parsons, we had Andrew Trimble, Warren Gatland there. They all arrived before. And, the beers are going, Gats is there drinking, he's in flying form. Oh, we've even got... And, we're all chatting away in the room and lads, you're going on stage in 10 minutes. You need to go get your head in the game.
The amount of time we, honestly, two of us are bad around each other. We get too easily distracted. The same thing happened at half time. We were having a ball with them and they were like, weren't she meant to be in different gear for the second half? And we're like, ah!
Out for a change, quick. But to be fair, Warren Gatland, amazing to have him there. And listen, we just have to say thank you so much to everybody who did come along.
Yes.
We really, really appreciate it. It was an amazing night. And the first one we've done, and maybe the last one that we'll do, but it was amazing and really great feedback and everything else. So thanks so much.
Certainly,
and if you weren't there, listen, we'll get you again maybe.
Yeah, we were certainly outside our comfort zone, but honestly, the wave of support, man, was unbelievable. You could actually feel the bit of love, which was great. Yeah. So if you were there, thank you so much. We really appreciate it.
But Gatland, we won't go into exactly what sort of stuff, but he was really open. He just looked like a man with the weight off his shoulders, didn't he? He was there for the crowd. He actually listens to the podcast, says he enjoys it. So that's a good start. That's how we got him.
Yeah. No, it was great to hear him. And you're right, he was incredibly open and straight down the line on a number of things. I found it interesting, him giving insight into kind of previous coaching tickets and... without giving too much away, but I was rocked on my heels when he said how many Irish he thinks will go on the Lions. Why?
I mean, he's thinking, 18 or so Irish players?
18 to 20 Irish players Warren Gatland thinks will tour.
Well, that could all fall flat in his face this weekend. If
Hold on, well I was odd with him. I was there. What about the other 16? Gats, you're joking. You're thinking of bringing anyone else on this tour, bar Irish lads.
Well, he remained on the fence fairly a lot though about who he thought was going to be the coaching ticket too, but that was great. And Trimby as well, and Baveen, brilliant, and see Baveen back almost fit, hopefully going to be part of the Women's Six Nations going forward too. So great night. Yeah, absolutely loved it. Fun. Yeah. I'm wrecked though after it.
Yeah, that's that kind of emotional drain as well, isn't it? It's not right. When do you know what? Actually, the Tree Olympia, what a theatre and made for performance, isn't it? You actually, when you step up there, you feel like you do have to perform, and all around the walls, the history, the Bonos, the Aslands, everyone,
David Bowe, everyone. And then they go and they say, the last double act that was here that you two, Laurel and Hardy.
That's right.
Thanks very much.
We had an idea to kind of give away a few rugby balls, and we practiced it earlier on, but Tommy nearly hit one of the chandeliers that has been there since 1887. Tommy nearly took it out. We had to swap the rugby balls for softballs over you numpty.
I mean, I was never known for my passing back when I played.
Catch and run,
yeah,
Tommy.
Absolutely. We'd end up having to get little softballs because we knew it was going to go so wrong. And the last thing, you want somebody on one of the balconies reaching to take it and
will you stop?
plonk it over the
Do
top.
the old Benson boom with a flip from the balcony.
Here, do you see that Benson Boone with the... How cool was that? Your man...
Yeah.
Google this if you haven't seen it. Benson Boone, the singer. Was that the Grammys or something? He went up on the piano.
He does
flipped
it everywhere.
Off it.
He did it in the Tree Olympia as well. They have a brilliant... There's these lovely balconies on the side, like where they used to put the two lads from the Muppets. And
Right.
we put some Muppets there
We
as
should
well.
have been there.
Carl and Durham were up there, so... But he climbed up there when he played there, and he did the flip from there.
No way.
I'm telling you, yeah, you were probably not around, but Eamon inside there showed us it. An incredible clip, yeah. But I
Wow.
think that's his thing, isn't it? But I know
Yeah.
the bit you're on about from the Grammys where he does it off the piano.
Yeah, that's
Who
class.
rips him out of the outfit? We need to get one of those suits.
That's for next show.
Yeah.
That's for the next live show.
There you go.
Sitting in the crowd, someone rips your clothes off. They all want to see that.
Bar that, how's your week been? Is there a whole lot going on for you?
No. Of course, it was all. Listen, it's all France. It's all France. All anyone's talking to me about is how are you going to see it going this weekend. What about you? What are you up to? You
I'm
got a
up
bit.
the
Do I
walls.
hear something in the background?
Yeah, we're up the walls with the garden. It's
Literally up the walls.
Well, long story, and I'll try to keep it short enough. We put on an extension, so we moved into Jenny's parents' house, and it was a family home for ages, 1950s house, but like we had things like a dining room and then a small kitchen, so we banged them in together and put on a bit of an extension. But while we did
up a bit.
all the kind of earth was on the back garden. And the grass was growing really well for kind of 2 years, and now it's going nowhere, and there's water staying on it. So like,
Oh, right. No drainage.
It just sits on top of it, so it's compacted. Do you know what I did? I'll give you a laugh. I rang Magella.
The groundsman for the Aviva.
Yeah, I rang Magella, and I was there. Magella, and I FaceTimed him. I was there. Magella, how are you getting on? No, he's one of the greatest men of all time.
Lovely man. Lovely man.
The people in around the Aviva, you have no idea what they do, and are so grateful to him.
I'm going to say this. Lovely man till you set one toe on that pitch when you're not meant to. If you're not in the starting 15 or on the
Absolutely.
team and you dare walk across that pitch, Magella doesn't turn. He'll be after you with the tractor.
It's his
honestly, with the big
baby, isn't
spike.
it? It is.
Oh,
his...
they like you see Pete O'Mahony out with the scissors cutting. I mean, like Pete has got nothing.
No,
on
he
these guys.
actually, Pete wouldn't tie Magella's laces. Sure, he wouldn't. He's not even close. And we love you to bits, Pete. You're lovely and you're great at it. But these are different gravy when it
He's
comes
like
to
the Lionel Messi. I mean, Pete, you're Division 1. This crew, the
There you
Champions
go.
League up here.
Do you
Lovely
remember,
fella, yeah.
Do you remember the
So
time?
you FaceTimed him. So what? Like, so what were you just saying? Oh,
I was there,
the water's
honestly,
on
I
top
was
of the
there,
grass.
Magella, problem here, fella. What's going on? And he was there, show me that. And he was bringing me around a bit. And then he wanted to hear it explained. And he was there, you might need a kind of sample of that and stuff. But then he put me on to this guy in Cork that he knows called Stephen. So Stephen came in and he's after sorting it. It needed to kind of be
Drained.
not drained. This machine needs to
Scarified.
go through it. There you go. That's the word.
Scarified.
Well done, Tommy. Yes. Go straight to
this-
goal. Collect 200 quid.
Hey, this is me. This is middle-aged. You hit your 40s, you're all about the grass.
Scarifying stuff.
Oh, listen! In the summertime, I'm up straight down to the local plant hire to go and hire a scarifier. I'm out there trying to plug holes for drain.
Are you joking? You should never be left near a machine like that.
No, I know it doesn't go too well. I will give you that. Not much scarifying gets done. It gets clogged up. I've broken it and I have to take it back saying, oh, I've broken the pull cord on it here.
There you go. They'll actually
Well,
give you.
I
They'll
love
send
it.
you out with a Fisher Price one. There you go, Tommy. Knock yourself out. All the balls going around and it making noises.
soon as the start of summer comes, I start to follow every gardening Instagrammer. I'm literally like, any tips,
All you need is Pete. All you need is Pete.
Well, no, Pete's gone too good. He goes and hires out the Thomond Park bloody sander, and like he's next level. Like, he's got this lawnmower that I think costs about $5,000 or something. Wow, so thanks, Pete. But it's probably sponsored.
We're grand for that.
Maybe got it from a few of those microwavable meals.
Brilliant. Let him who hasn't done
in just 3 minutes.
Let him who hasn't done a dodgy campaign throw the first stone, Tommy. Stop it. Pete, keep going. You're dead right. Can I tell one story about Magella? Magella in the groundsman in the Aviva. You've given context there. He was anal about the pitch. Like, it was actually, and we can't even put it into context. Like no wonder it looks so good, because it's loved so much by him and his crew. Like, it is bananas. But I remember he came to us once, because the forwards at the end of the captain's run would practice lineouts, and Magella came over and he said, lads, every second or third lineout, will you move off the spot? So that we don't get a line on the pitch, you know? Yeah. So, of course, we were there. Yeah, of course we will. And then we got into it. And we were just calling lineouts, and just making this massive line on the pitch. So he came over again, and he was there, lads, and he caught eyes with Paulie. He was there, can you move on there? I don't want a line left in it. And we were there, yeah. And then we came up and started going into 6-man. So then we started motoring again. Next thing, he walks over with a pitchfork and just calls Paulo over. And that was it. Every 2 we moved after that, it was just, they came to some agreement. I don't know what was said. There was a pitchfork involved. It was Magella and Paul O'Connell, and after that we were all there. All right, let's just roll.
Okay, let's just keep on moving here off the pitch. But like, I love seeing that. Soon the game's over. The lads are just off clapping the crowd, and they're out there with the lawnmowers doing the lines.
Can I ask a question about that? Anyone that's into gardening, and even Magella, I'm going to ring him. Why do you cut the grass after the match? I don't get it. Like, how is it grown?
Oh, yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Because do you know what's very annoying? If you listen to a lot of podcasts that work out of the stadium, and of course all these reporters need to get them to do, they all apologise for the lawnmowers.
Oh, it wrecks my head, though. It is so annoying.
But maybe
they're always cutting the grass.
Do you know what the lawnmowers are? They're the modern day bunksters. Have you no homes to go to, please? Ladies and gentlemen, out ye go. That's what they do.
Do you know what I think it is? I think that's just pure mitching. You put on a podcast and you're just like, what are we doing today? Mowed the lawn. Yeah, no, flat out. It's like, did you not do it yesterday and the day before and the day before? I mean, is there not other stuff you could be doing to that grass?
But then again,
scarify it.
Tommy, they're there every day, non-stop. Probably, you know what I mean, all hours.
And he doesn't really need that much. No, I love it. Doesn't need this much.
Don't, honestly. Magella's going to come after you with the pitchfork, and I am not going against him.
He's been on the Aviva since 2 weeks ago. When was the last time Ireland played at home, actually?
Yeah, the English match,
obviously 4 weeks ago, wouldn't it be?
Yeah.
The England match. So, I mean, like, what have they been doing for 4 weeks?
Stop it, Tommy.
Sorting out your grass.
It was a quick 1 minute phone call. I didn't take too much of Magella's time, and I do apologise.
They've been working from home to go cut other people's grass.
Oh, wild stuff.
Listen, anyway, the grass is going to be sorted. Are you into gardening? Like, are you going to just put the artificial down? No,
I'm not. I'm not into gardening, but Jenny's dad really is, and that's probably, you know what I mean.
They're not there. It's their house. Or was their house. So the pressure's on you.
Yes, exactly. Legacy, man. He's handed it over. Well, he hasn't really handed it over. He's out there every second day. The kids constantly slag him because he's throwing down kind of seed and stuff like that, and they're playing "Feed the Birds, tuppence a bag."
Well, I mean, my dad is obsessed with his garden, and Lucy's dad is obsessed with his garden. And Lucy's dad's actually flying in this afternoon. It's my son's birthday, and like, I'm out there like fixing up the garden to make it look half decent because I know he's going to be judging it.
Do you know what, Tommy? That it's never going to hit for us, though. You know that kind of moment in life when you become a real man. You know what I mean?
Well, I think I'm like, you know, when you get a scarifier, Dunners. When
You haven't got a
when you get a
scarifier.
multi-tool screwdriver.
They gave you a potato masher and they left you out the back garden. Who are you codding?
No, to be fair, I can't do any DIY, but I can cut the grass. It's like an hour of peace.
Yeah,
Plant
okay,
a few daphrodils, you're laughing.
Jeez, good.
Right.
Fair play. That's better
Anyway,
than me.
there you go. Quickly, because we do need to get on to the match. There is a
We're
match this weekend.
going to chat about rugby.
You came in for the live show. You had the Ash Wednesday. Fair play to you. Are you giving up anything for Lent?
Yes, I have given up. I've given up coffee again, and I think it's becoming my.
We've discussed this before.
Yeah,
Don't know how
very
you do
difficult.
it.
Although I'm in a different spot to you, I actually wouldn't recommend it for you. When you've those early starts and when you actually have to go, it is very important. But I'm a bit freer in the mornings now, so don't need that little boost. But I do find it difficult in terms of. Do you know what's the biggest thing for me? Coffee's quite social for me. Going out to meet someone and it's not the same, is it? You know what I mean?
You can't have a cup of tea.
You can't have
It's
a cup
just
of tea.
you can't go with the lads and they're all flat white Americano. Cup of tea.
Cup of tea, yeah. And then you try something like a peppermint tea, like, and you know what I mean? Oh, notions. Yeah.
Out.
What about
Who's your
bubble
man?
tea? Can I give that a go?
We had that. The kids had that over. It's horrible.
Oh,
the
jeez.
little balls in it. We had that in
is
London.
Is it sweet?
Yeah, so you have like watermelon flavour, strawberry flavour, and they get this big straw and they suck all these balls.
I'm all right. I'll give
Anyway,
that a miss.
peppermint tea.
I'll have a cup of tea. Yeah. What about yourself? Are you giving up anything?
Can you have decaf? Are you allowing yourself decaf?
No, I'm not. See, why? Like, what's the
you're all
point?
out,
I don't.
right.
But do you know what? Last year I did the craziest thing I've ever done in my life. You know, I've done some silly things, but I
you're a bit
really
odd,
regret
yeah.
this one. Last year I went off red meat, and honestly, I actually think it nearly hurt me. It really, really did. Wow. Yeah, my rig went into awful shape over it, and just
Did you like meat in general, like
No,
poultry, or just red meat? Sorry,
just
like
red
burgers, obviously all that sort of stuff
and
gone.
just steaks and all the good stuff, really. Yeah. But do you know
How
what?
often would you have a steak?
We'd eat red meat a lot. It would not like over the top, but between different things like, you know, kind of spag ball and things like that. Yeah. You'd be surprised how much you use it. Do you know what?
And did the kids, did they all go off it too?
No, just me. Jeez, no, we wouldn't do that to them. Jeez. But do you know what, Tommy? I can understand, and look, I mean no offence, if you're, you know, vegetarian or vegan, you know what I mean? Like, we all choose our lane.
Good luck. Fair play to you.
Yeah. But I must say, when I was in England, I could find it hard to stay off meat. But then, man, ours is so good. It is so good. Like, it's at a different level altogether. And I missed it so much, man. I couldn't do it
So
again.
that's not giving up this year. I couldn't give up. Well,
Yeah.
we have chicken all the time.
Yeah,
and
chicken
mince,
is the proper one.
mince, spag ball too. Yeah. I'm actually not giving up anything this year. I tried to go up coffee last year. I was drinking. Started off doing Ireland AM. You're up at 4:00 in the morning. You're in studio. You've got an interview, and you're drinking an old watery tea.
Yeah.
At
No,
7:00. Horrible. Tried to
been
do
there.
decaf, and it's placebo more than anything else.
100% is.
I was like, if I don't have it, I didn't feel like it was on. Oh, I hated it.
But
So
it's
yeah,
even
lasted
the
about 3 or 4
ritual
days.
as well. It's the smell, Tommy, isn't it? That smell
I
is
love
like
it.
time to go. Here we go. You know what I mean?
Oh, it's my
like the
one
smell.
vice.
Oh yeah, but even when you walk into a dressing room and you get that smell of deep heat or wintergreen, you know what I mean? You're like, whoa, here we go. It's certain smells that kind of kick in a reaction. That's what coffee
Because
does.
sometimes whenever I get into studio and it's like the cup of coffee's there and it's just like I get such excitement. Like it's the first sip. It's honestly that's my hit.
Can I ask,
sad.
why don't you take up something? Here's an idea. For Lent, why wouldn't you take up, honestly, right, 15 to 20 minutes of the garden a day?
Oh, that's a good one.
Now,
All right.
there you
Yeah,
go.
there's a good one.
See,
Okay.
so off you go. Oh, Peter O'Mahony's there like this. Oh, he's coming after me. Tommy
There's going to be
Bowe.
like 4 lines in the garden done. I'm going to have to stop because I'm like, I'll finish you
15
tomorrow.
minutes done. I'll see you
And I'll
tomorrow.
finish you the next day. Because I did try to do a bit of like 20 minutes train or half an hour train every day for 40 minutes or for 40 days. I enjoyed that too, but some days.
But
hard to
hold on,
squeeze in.
Tommy. Sorry. You can't take that on for Lent. You were a professional athlete for over like 15 years.
Yeah, but I'm not anymore.
I know, but you're just doing the same thing you always did. That's not hard for you. That's not
Yes,
a
it is.
sacrifice.
To go and train every day is hard work.
Yeah, but you know what you're doing.
And it's good for you.
No, honestly, helping cats out of trees, that'd be better and more in your line than nonsense doing chest and back and thinking you're making a sacrifice.
If I'm going to be cutting lawns for 15 minutes, I'm going to have the whole street's going to be done.
There you go. Yeah, you could add to the good deeds.
Fair
You could call into other people and cut their grass.
I
Tommy's available if you're his neighbour. Give him a shout.
We need to move on to rugby, but like, is this the right time to even cut grass? I think it's still too early. So, anyway, 15 minutes of gardening. Come back to me next week. See how we're getting on. Right. Let's move on to the match this weekend. But before we do that, I want to give another big shout out. Thank you to Ballygowan Natural Mineral Water for sponsoring the podcast.
Yeah, did you know Ballygowan has a range of different flavoured waters called Hint of Fruits? They're available in a variety of flavours and they're always sugar-free. Today, Tommy, I'm all over this one. Look at this, because I'm feeling a little bit summer fruits.
You're a bit fruity this morning.
There you go, summer fruits. Get it into you, fella. Beautiful.
Get it into you, lad. Get it into you. Yeah. Let's move on to this. Right, the Irish team is announced. This is the biggest game of the year. This is the one that everybody's been talking about before even the competition started. Ireland against France. A lot on the line. So if Ireland are to win, you would like to think that they'll go and beat Italy away from home. That's Six Nations and potentially Grand Slam sorted. If France were to win, and Ireland, but not get a bonus point, and Ireland were to get a losing bonus point, and England, I think, were to get a win with a try bonus point, that would mean going into the final week, you would have Ireland, France, and England all on 15 points and 3 games to actually to decide. Now, France would be big favourites for that because of a huge points difference, but obviously Ireland, Italy, you never know how that could go. So there's an awful lot riding on this match, and two cracker teams.
France win, you could get the Super Saturday, and maybe that's what everyone wants.
In a way, I don't want that to happen because you want Ireland to obviously win the Six Nations. But the television companies, yourself, because first off, it's Ireland against Italy. Then I think it is England against Wales. And then finally, I think it's France against Scotland. What? On Saturday next week. That would be a cracker to go and watch that.
No, forget about that. Let's all get our nice little, hopefully, championship or Six Nations in the bag. Hopefully a Grand Slam and leg it and just be watching them all going, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Can I ask you a question? Do you think this is the biggest game ever in Irish history?
No.
Just, it's not.
Sorry. Because what you're trying to say in this is that Ireland have the chance to win to be the first team ever to win three Six Nations in a row. Is that what you mean?
Exactly.
So to create history, something no one has ever done.
This is it. I know we get slagged over your World Cup quarterfinals and doing Six Nations and stuff, but this is an achievement that will stand on its own forever.
I would say the World Cup, we've lost World Cups, but we were never really contenders to win a World Cup. We've lost the quarterfinals.
Yeah.
But I think the last World Cup, they were genuine contenders. You beat South Africa, that game against New Zealand, everything went wrong and we still only just lost to them. I kind of think that New Zealand game would be bigger than this. Ireland winning a World Cup would be bigger than winning 3 Six Nations, I think.
Yeah, maybe, but that hasn't happened. So, where we are,
it hasn't.
No,
so we're back to the new biggest game.
Exactly.
It's the biggest game this year
next week, it's the biggest game ever.
Leinster, their biggest game's coming up very shortly. But
I think there's an argument for it. Because I think this genuinely. I don't mean to be disrespectful, but could this be harder than a World Cup? You know what I mean?
Well, it's never been done. It's never.
That's
so
it.
That says it alone, and we know what makes Six Nations such an incredible competition is actually how tight it is. Even the fact that
rivalries that every game is on.
Ireland were such favourites going into that Wales match. All of a sudden, Wales turn up, and it was tight for a long part of that game. That's what we love about it.
Thank you,
Bundy.
Bundy.
Well done, Bundy.
Bundy, we trust.
Well done, James Lowe as well on Gibson
Well
Park.
done, all the lads. Sorry, apologies.
All the lads, all the Leinster team as well. No, it is like it's a huge game. Like this France man and France have huge this is kind of the golden generation. I think the new golden generation of French rugby.
Yeah.
But to think they've only won Six Nations in the last number of years with this team,
Absolutely.
like they haven't got bang for their buck.
And the resources they put into it. If you remember, before they probably were at odds with the clubs, whereas now they work together. They brought in, before it was like the Avengers. Remember the Toulons, the best players from all over the world. Now they've focused on producing homegrown talent. Their second division of their competition is good as professional. So many talent, and like they're setting the blaze. The likes of Toulouse, you know what I mean? That's a.
What do you think, right? I heard this being asked on another podcast the other day, and
I'll give him a shout then, why don't you? You know what I mean?
It was Joe Malloy, Indo Sport.
Good on you, Joe. Well done,
Well on, Joe. Fair play to you, lad. He asked the question, who's the better team? And I think that's quite a tough question.
Oh, jeez, that's a nasty little... Yeah, finally, a journalist with a good question. Well done, Joe.
Joe can ask a question now. He can ask the sort of questions you wouldn't be getting here too often. And Eddie O'Sullivan giving the answer, so that's the sort of analysis we need as well. From
there you go.
Joe,
watch the two of us absolutely butcher it. Do you know what? I'd say if you put them down on paper and you asked people from, you know what I mean, that aren't emotionally invested, I think an awful lot of them would look towards the French team. Just the names and the skill set.
Starting 15. Yeah, 15 against 15. Players on the pitch, you got to say that French team is probably the better team.
No, they're the better individuals, I think.
Nice.
Yeah, I think what we have, and Simon's kept it going, Andy Farrell's done it, we're incredible at some of the parts. Like Ireland, you know what I mean? 1 + 1 is 3. In fact, some of them 4. I just think the collective does so much better, and that's why I know it frustrates Scotland, but that's the difference. The collective works better for each other as opposed to the individuals.
Well, and that's the cohesion. The cohesion of this team, the efficiency of this team, how how resourceful they are. Because they're probably not the world class. Well, they are world class players. Would you say, 100%. If you look at the team, right?
But Tommy,
if you were to ask.
No, I know what you're saying, but it's frustrating me because everyone's doing it. Everyone's looking at them and kind of going, "Oh, I don't know about them for lines," and they're not looking at the collective. And that, we said about Warren Gatland saying 20 Irish players. I'm honestly kind of going, I think a few more, because bring them. You know what I mean? Don't bring the parts. Bring them the whole bus, man. Bring the machine that is ready to light it up. And I think that's what this Irish team can do. Their use of emotional energy is unmatched at the moment. Finally, maybe this week, England tip into it. Finally, captain Jamie George. You know what I mean? But if you look at what they did to him a few weeks ago, dropping him as captain and having him out of the squad, that would never happen here. You know?
No, and they do have such a settled squad as well. But do you think, because they're so good collectively wise, are they getting the same accolades individually as, say, previous? If you think of O'Connell, O'Driscoll, O'Gara, right? The three lads who are seen as the gods of Irish rugby, right? And that sort of generation. But for the likes of Ty Byrne, unbelievable player. Will go on the lines again. Joe McCarthy, for instance, a young fella. Could Joe McCarthy ever be the Paul O'Connell? It's hard because it's harder to stand out in this team.
Do you know why though, Tommy? Because I think they brought. Selfless isn't the right word, but their level of parking their ego for the collective, they don't care. They don't care once they can make history. And I think it was summed up this week. It was when the three lads announced they were going together. Every one of them over 100 caps deserves a curtain call on their own. But three of them walk out the door and say, here we go, we're going together. You know what I mean?
Compare that to Drico.
Drico had a blimp, didn't he?
He had 2 blimps. I mean, it was Can we go out onto the pitch yet? No, stall. The kick-off is put back 5 minutes. They're trying to remove the huge O2 blimps off the pitch for Brian O'Driscoll with his picture on them.
Dublin Airport were manoeuvring planes around it. There was fellas heading to Lanzarote, ended up in Crete because of Drico's blimp. What are they going to do? Are they going to have 6 blimps for the lads?
We were saying this. We should say. I mean, Pete doesn't want blimps. Pete just wants the one opportunity to go out and cut the grass in the Aviva Stadium.
Brilliant. Send him off the right way. Can we make this happen for Pete O'Mahony? Magella, give him a lawnmower at the end of the kick-off. End of the match, there's Pete.
They go out. Listen, I mean, if Pete got the opportunity to like mow his face into the pitch, mow all 3 faces.
Honestly, he's going to go for you now. He's going to have a lot of time on his hands very soon, and you're in trouble. We should talk about him, man, because they've been incredible. You know what I mean? Like we said there, the lack of ego to go together, but. Yeah, Tommy, you know it. If you get 1 cap, you're a talented rugby player, to be fair to you. And to stay in the environment, you know, you must be really good. But to do what they do, you have to be a special man. You really do. To go through so many different generations of player and still have that warmth and that relevance and that importance. They 3 lads, Conor Murray, Cian Healy, Peter O'Mahony, something special. And
unbelievable servants to Ireland, to their provinces. Like, you think what they've gone through, like you think of the injuries, even Pete, well, Cian in particular, some of the like he's had 3 career-ending injuries and has come back. Incredible. Pete is 35 years of age. People are always writing him off, always questioning. He's there starting in what you're saying is the biggest game ever for Irish rugby. Conor, Cian, they're going to come off the bench as well. Had huge impact, which is going to be needed with the 6-2 split as well on the bench. So, like, to still be trusted at this stage, to still be able to pull out big performances in what is going to be an enormous match.
Yeah, but then again, Tommy, they always deliver. Like Peter O'Mahony, he didn't play against Scott. You know what I mean? He didn't. Like, he absolutely performed. And like, I just think when you're bringing younger players into the environment, right? And you say, like, you know what I mean? Keep your ego in check. It's all about the team. It's all about the team. You don't have to say it there. You just have to look at the way they always present. Like the way Cian always togs out, ready to go. All of them. Conor, the exact same. Pete, their level of professionalism. But what I think they probably, honestly, and they're different to everyone else, something has happened in that squad, and they have, honestly, they've brought self-care to a different level. Their love for each other, I think, is unmatched.
It's so weird, isn't it?
It's
like
mad.
They talk about when Andy Farrell came in, it's about, you know, what's different about this squad? He said, it's about being more vulnerable. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
What do you mean more vulnerable? I mean, what? Like, you're opening up and they're like, we get to know about their family, you get to know what drives them, where their interests are, what actually is their purpose, and where, you know, how to motivate them. And if you know whether it's, you know, your parents, the sacrifices that they went through to get you to the level that you're at, your family, you don't know. But it's amazing to think Andy Farrell's tapped into all that sort of stuff. And to be able to drive these players, and the likes of Pete, he'll be driving that.
Yeah, very true. Do you know what? It's something... I'm nearly embarrassed over it. I remember reading of a few of our teammates' autobiographies and finding stuff out for the first time. And you're there. I was lucky enough to share a dressing room with that man who was incredible. And you know what I mean? I'd walk on glass for them. But, wow, I had no idea of that. And like, that's it. Isn't that a shame in a way? You know what I mean? And look, you gotta, honestly, whatever about the lads, you gotta credit the environment. If you, like, that is leadership, isn't it? Like, who thinks like that? You know what I mean? We're going to be vulnerable. You know what I mean? Wow.
On a rugby team, you know, how much is that? How much is the environment, and it all changed? And that's the leadership now. And to be fair, that's what Warren Gatland kind of said. He said, you know, the style of coaching that he would have done years ago, that just doesn't work anymore.
It's amazing to hear him say
that. You have to evolve,
But before, Tommy, I always felt vulnerability was your kryptonite. Never show the weakness. You know what I mean? Emotionally or like skill-wise, whatever it is. But, you know, I suppose if you want to push on to that level, you you have to have fellas that know will have your back, and the only way to get that is, you know what I mean, to go, this is me completely.
And it's because they don't play an emotion as much, Donncha, anymore.
I think they handle emotion way better. We've chatted about this, and we chatted about it on the live podcast. But playing it this week, good and early, because you remember we were there for those unbelievable, inspirational team talks the night before the game. Those
Amazing,
brilliant Dricko, Rory Best, Paul O'Connell, some of the most amazing things you would ever hear in your life. But it was nearly too close to kick off.
Yeah, couldn't sleep.
You'd be wound up, wouldn't you? You know what I mean?
Oh, you'd be ready to kill someone, yeah.
Yeah. And
the night before, where they do it now at the start of the week.
Start of the week and get it in and use it as the fuel. But, like, take the lads aside. There's also, like, Kel and Doris on 50 caps. There's a few more on 50 caps. There's all the emotion in different ways for different people. Like, I actually would think it's not just towards the three lads. Everyone's bringing something, if you know what I mean. And they'll make it important to everyone. Of course, like, I'd say Peter O'Mahony's looking over there at, you know what I mean, someone like Osborne and going, you know what I mean, I'm not going to leave you down because I know you, man. You know what I mean? I've got your back.
I do. You worry, though, like, there are areas, like the scrum was under serious pressure over in Wales.
Yeah.
Phelan Beelan is going to be starting. There was talk of Tyke Furlong potentially going to be back fit. Obviously, he's not passed the test. So Thomas Clarkson is on the bench as well with Keane. Rob Herring is in because Kelleher isn't fit.
Yeah.
I mean, like, if you look at that French squad, they've had a 7-1 split on the bench. 7 forwards to just one Luku, the scrum. I mean, God, if they get a couple of, I mean, some of the mutants they have on the bench as well. Like, if they have to bring them on the wing, that could be dangerous.
Can we just say, though, can everyone now start apologising to Razzie in South Africa?
I hate this, by the way. I hate this.
You can't hate this. This is good coaching, Tommy.
Nah, rubbish. Don't like it.
No, I think you're being. But hold on, when Razzie did it, no, everyone was. But no, Galtier does it, and it's like, oh, he's got a generational 9. He can afford to do this. Whereas Razzie was coaching it. I always think it. I no one gives the credit for the 7-1. Of course, it is. They are arriving with a lump hammer. You, like, honestly, it's that scene in Snatch. You know, when they knock on the door and they have the big fella. No one brings a fella like that isn't here for a fight. You know what I mean?
The fella. Do you know, you ever get clamped in Dublin? If you get clamped in Dublin, right, you have to ring them. You get the automated phone line. You're like, hello, key in your card details. And you're like, I just want to talk to somebody and tell me how frustrated I am. I've been only here 2 minutes. And then, like, next thing, eventually, like, they will remove the clamp between 5 and 5 hours. 5 minutes and 5. And you're like, so you're sitting there in the car, you don't know, and like 45 minutes, 50 minutes goes. Eventually, a van, big transit, pulls up beside you, and you're getting out of the car.
Yeah,
I'm going to give it to this. And then this absolute French forward comes off the bench.
Antonio rocks out.
He's not the driver at all. It's the other fella gets out, whose job is there to just stare me down straight away. Listen, I was probably a couple of minutes late.
You're dead right. It's awful that people park like this, so reckless.
So that's the French pack coming off the bench.
But do you know what, Tommy? There's even more insight into it. You know, we saw during the week they had Terry Henry in at their training session giving out the jerseys, and I don't think that is, you know what I mean, a coincidence. You know what I mean? I don't think that, it's by accident. You know what I mean? Or that they got it wrong. I think he's given a message. You know what I mean? I think he's given the message. He did whatever it took. I know he cheated, and I'm not taking away from that, and we were all raging over it. But when you consider in that moment, for France to get over the line, he did whatever it took. And I think that's
France got to the World Cup, Ireland didn't, and he's like, suck it up, sorry, I got away with it. Bit like Neil Back against you guys in the European Cup final.
Yeah.
It hurts. But he did what he got to do.
Why'd you bring that one up?
but do you think that's like, listen, you kind of brings up a whole big talking area of, well, if you're going to cheat, like, how far are you going to go? Like, where's the line on this? Yeah, but at the same time, France have to win this weekend. Have to win. There's no other option. So do you think he was in there and just explained, well, listen, the opportunity was there to handle the ball. I got away with it. Do that this weekend. Do whatever you got to do to win.
Of course, we don't know the message, but like I'm just trying to think differently about it, and I wonder.
It's not a coincidence that he was there. Like,
Tommy, you mentioned that Neil Back one. We were in a review with Munster the following season, and honestly, I know a lot of people were odd with him over that, and of course, but within the dressing room, he was. I know this sounds crazy. He was quite respected because we were there. He was at the point that he would do anything to put a medal in his teammates' pockets. You know what I mean? Like that's what Neil Back would do, and we're not quite there yet. And we have to find that spot, and maybe that's what they're saying to that French team as well. You know what I mean?
Ruthless.
Whatever it takes. Whatever it takes. I actually think. I know we were kind of slagging about it, but I know we're trying to set it up for the greatest game in history, you know, for Ireland. But I actually think it could be an absolute belter because they're both skillful, they're both really good, but emotion is going to be through the roof in this one. I think it's going to be like a game I hope, man, it lives up to what it could be.
I hope so. The problem is that there's just so many forwards. It's just going to be so forward dominated and boring.
There's not enough forwards. You know what I mean? But do you know what? And another thing, can I just tidy up? I think we're leading towards like, of course, France should do this when they've Dupont. You know what I mean? Because what would you say now if you were an Irish pack, right? You'd say, get a hold of Dupont. If we can get him off the pitch, they're so vulnerable with a 7-1 bench. You know what I mean? Anyone else goes down and they're in real trouble. But like you're not allowed to touch a 9 anymore. They've become these endangered species that now can play in dinner jackets and go out. Ooh, don't touch me! I'm a 9. You know what I mean? You know, there was very little joy in rugby for me, but catching a 9 was up there. It might only happen once a year. It was like grabbing a leprechaun. You were like, yes.
Well, I like this rule. I like.
Of course you do.
But
of course
he's a genius. He's the best player in the world. Let's see him. I don't want to see him getting ragdolled by some forward. It's like in the Gaelic football at the minute, right? They've this new rule where you have the 3 forwards have to stay up in the front third of the pitch, and the 3 backs kind of have to defend and whatever else. David Clifford, Walsh, Comer, like some of the best attacking players used to have 3 and 4 people marking them all the time. And they're marked, like you had David Clifford, who was a player of a generation, and he could never get the ball, could never do anything because he was always marked out. Now it's a 1v1. Clifford gets the ball. Yeah. He is coming. Came back, first game back, scored a hat-trick. Like, you think Gibson Park, unbelievable. Give him space. Do you know what I mean? You've Dupont. I want those guys to have space because I, as a rugby fan, want to see the best players having space to do things that people like me and certainly you could not do. But I know what you wanted to do was grab those people and shake them with frustration that I can't do that.
I think you got to earn it. Look, Gaelic football is a little bit different because we all watched that All-Ireland final, and it honestly it was a tough watch, and of course that needs a bit of change. But I would always feel I do think that needed rule changes, but there needs to be coaching that goes in. So if there's 3 players on David Clifford, there's bound to be space somewhere else. You know what I mean? I know I don't want to take away from the fact, but I'm just thinking, like, sometimes we change the rules. Like, we're actually just turning him into a super force. Like, he is it already, man. The Dupont should play with a cape. He's that good. He really is incredible. But no, you know, with the rules, like, he's, like, honestly,
well, listen, let's hope he's not a hero this weekend because he's gonna be pretty important to them, and that's the thing about him. But no matter how much you talk him up, how much you big him up, and kind of say we have to stop him, he just finds a way. So yeah, he's
isn't
such
it great?
Threat,
isn't it brilliant as well, Tommy? That not only are we going to the match, but I'm excited to see him. You know what I mean? I can't, like, you know what I mean? Like, it's one of those.
I love watching him.
Yeah, I remember my nephew went up to he's a Munster supporter, but he went up to the Leinster when Leinster played Toulouse after we put him through extra time and fatigued him really well for them. Do you remember that one? And then, he was going up to watch it just purely to see Dupont. Like, he was there, like, and I see it, getting the train up, honestly, he was there.
He's the Lionel Messi of rugby at the moment. And even like the winger, Biel Barre as well, absolute rocket ship. Penno is back as well, and Ntamak is starting again at 10. So, like, they do have a hell of a team. But as you say, the collective, like for Sam Prendergast, going to be a big challenge. I would imagine he's going to get the Johnny Sexton treatment. They're going to try and rough him up.
Yeah,
you know, run down his channel, but a young lad loves to get stuck in as well. So another big challenge for him. But
he's so capable.
How do you see it going? What are you thinking?
I'm finding it hard to remove my heart from it. You know what I mean? I want it so much for that group. You know what I mean? You mentioned the 3 lads, but also just, I think they've been incredible. Just,
It's a big one for them.
yeah, it is. I'd see us, but honestly, I think it's going to be.
Oh, it's going to be a cracker.
One of the
match.
most attritional games we've ever seen. But I hope we are good enough. I think we're in the bookies. We're kind of 1 point favourite, and I'd take that every day of the week, wouldn't it?
Yeah,
3-0, do us lovely. Wouldn't we love that? 3-0.
Oh, 3 no. It was 7-1 split and a 3-0. Like, we have completely different views on the game of rugby, but that's the beauty of it. Obviously, Scotland play against Wales. That's going to be a great game as well. England against Italy, some cracker matches. Look, I love Six Nations. Anything else you watching in the minute?
Yes. No, it's, and I know you don't want to talk about it, but we're talking about it. We've got our man, Clayton McMillan. He's coming to Munster.
Thanks very much now. Lovely to chat.
Typical you. Do you know what, Tommy? You're worse than the blue media. You're the anti-red media, and there's a few of you out there that just constantly
listen to it all. How have Munster been able to sign this guy? I do not agree with it.
What do you mean? How haven't we made it? We don't have a coach in place.
Mike Prendergast. Mike Prendergast is more than capable to be the head coach, and you talk about upskilling.
Hold on,
young Irish coach,
agreed,
fantastic coach. You have Ian Costello's there, the director of rugby. You have Dennis Leamy there. Yeah, you have a perfectly good coaching team. But Munster, of course, get this new superstar head coach who comes in from.
Wow.
Who did you have as well?
I'm not having that off you. Well, hold on now. Genuinely, Tommy, we deserve to have coaches like this. Like, for everything we produce.
The other provinces don't.
Yeah, well, they certainly do. Are you joking me? Nienberg.
Okay, well, Leinster do, but they probably pay for all that. Like, they pay for that from the money that Leinster gave them by selling out Croke Park.
Well, one thing... We never have a problem with that type of money. If that money is earned for them filling out Croke Park, fill your boots. The one I can test is, and we've had it this week already, the central contracts, they're moving up to 12, 2 in Connacht, 1 in Munster, and none, unfortunately, in Ulster. So, yeah.
No, not good. I'm honestly feeling bad for Munster.
You're annoying me, but I got a bit of time with Gatland and I got to chat about Clayton, and oh my God, after chatting to him, I'm so excited about it. Whatever about being an incredible coach, which he's done a great job with the Chiefs, just that cultural link. I'm kind of I'm delighted for that group of lads that they probably get that. Like, this could be a career defining coach for a number of players.
To be fair, like, Gatland was speaking so highly of him, and the one thing what he said was culture. He believes massively in culture, and I think that is so important, particularly in a club like Munster. And listen, I'm just sour grapes a little bit now.
No, that's all right.
Well, listen, we have Richie Murphy. We've obviously, I think, isn't Sexton's brothers coming up to Ulster. You have Willie Falloon, but it's a young coaching crew, and you're just kind of thinking, like, maybe a bit of experience there is the opportunity for them to have that. And then when you see, Munster getting that brilliant one, Connacht obviously have Pete Wilkins. They brought in a new Australian assistant coach as well to attack. So anyway, the other provinces. But listen, culture I think is going to be important, and Munster need it. Like, if Munster, where their supporters want them to be competing with Leinster with half the budget, they need to have a good, strong coach there. So maybe he's the man.
No, he certainly sounds like it, and it's exciting times. Honestly, there's for me, there's a flutter about this guy in terms of I just hope he can get us. And you're right, like a little bit. Hey, for me, Tommy, as well, I'd love if he's a culture man, but I hope he looks at the whole province. You know what I mean? I'd love him to live in Clare. I'd love him to live in Tipperary. Genuinely. You see, you'll never get it.
Why would a man coming from New Zealand think, I might just not live beside the training venue. I fancy an hour and a half commute. I'm going to live in South Kerry here. I'm going to travel up to Limerick.
That would be magic if he lived there.
Just because I love the guy. Love Gaelic football. Really interesting.
No chance. You'll never get it, Tommy. You'll never know it. You know what I mean? And do you know what? I'm kind of glad you don't. But anyone that's read and that's listening gets it every time. And that's probably the difference. And do you know what? We love you for it. Because you'll win feck all.
And you won't win much either. Anyway, well done to him.
We'll be back, Tommy. Watch us coming. I'm telling you, watch us coming.
Right, finish it up. There we go. Listen, it's going to be a cracker of a weekend. Cannot wait for the match to get started this weekend.
Actually, could we encourage people, like, genuinely, you know what I mean? If you're not all that into rugby, though, get around some people this weekend. This is going to be, honestly, incredible. This is
just to watch DuPont alone. You know, call him around, watch this fella. He is insane. And watch the way he gets ragdolled by Big Joe McCarthy.
Go on, Caelan Doris. Keep a hold of him.
Go on, come on, Ireland.
Come on, Ireland. Good on you, Tommy.